What foods make blueberries work better, and which ones quietly cancel out their benefits? Where we don't just talk about aging, we talk about aging well. And today's guest is Japan's oldest doctor and most respected physician. He's lived through more than 100 years of health trends and outlasted them all. Still walking daily, still working, still healing. All thanks to a life rooted in simplicity, wisdom, and nutrition. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, it is truly an honor to have you back with us.
Thank you, John. It's always good to speak with someone who understands how deeply food and longevity are intertwined. Today we're diving into a fascinating discussion about blueberries, one of the most antioxidant-rich fruits in the world that most of our listeners love to eat. We'll explore how pairing them with the right foods can amplify their benefits in the body. We're not talking about fleeting trends. Instead, we are focusing on 3 simple food combinations that could quietly become the smartest part of your daily routine. And most importantly, we'll also dive into why they work so well and how they can boost your health as you get older. Plus, at the end, I'll share one food you should never pair with the blueberries because it could be sabotaging your health without you even knowing it.
All right, doctor, but before we dive in, let me tell you about my patient Elise. She's 68, recently retired, and doing everything right. Daily walks, home-cooked meals, even blueberries every morning for brain health. Still, she came to me feeling foggy and tired by mid-morning. And the problem? It wasn't what she was eating, it was what she was pairing it with. And for everyone listening, we'd love to keep your country in mind for future videos, so we can suggest foods that are actually easy to find where you live. Just let us know where you're from. We truly appreciate it. Now let's get into it. What really happens when you combine blueberries with other foods, even the healthy ones?
When we eat blueberries on their own, they deliver antioxidants and polyphenols that help reduce inflammation, support blood vessels, and neutralize oxidative stress. But when you combine them with other foods, especially those high in sugar or poor quality fats, that benefit can be diminished or delayed. The digestive process becomes more complex, and instead of absorption, your body can enter a state of competition where some nutrients block or override others.
That reminds me of meals where people pile healthy and unhealthy foods together, like blueberries on a muffin or with sweetened cereal. The body doesn't separate the good from the bad. It just reacts to the full mix.
Exactly, and unfortunately, when sugar spikes or inflammation are introduced into that mix, the antioxidants from blueberries often go toward fighting that damage, instead of supporting the eyes, brain, or heart. So the fruit is still doing its job, but its efforts are now redirected toward cleanup, not prevention. That's why thoughtful combinations are so important, especially for older adults whose systems can't compensate as quickly.
So even good foods can lose their strength when paired poorly.
Yes, and with age, that margin for error becomes smaller. Seniors need food to cooperate, not compete.
That really puts it into perspective. We assume we're getting the benefits just by including healthy foods, but the context changes everything. It makes me think, if there are combinations that hold blueberries back, there must be others that help them work even better. Let's explore some of the best foods you can pair with blueberries to build a meal that supports your health after 60.
One of the most effective pairings is blueberries with whole oats. Not only do the oats provide soluble fiber, which helps stabilize blood sugar, but they also create a slower digestive environment that protects the antioxidants in blueberries. This means your body absorbs more of what actually matters: the anthocyanins, the vitamin C, the compounds that reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. and for seniors especially, that slower release helps maintain energy and focus throughout the day.
It's interesting. We often recommend fiber and antioxidants separately, but we rarely talk about how well they work together. This isn't just about stacking healthy foods, it's about building cooperation between them.
Yes, and it's something traditional diets understood intuitively. In Japan, many breakfasts involve fermented grains or gentle fibers paired with fruit, not as a trend, but as a habit passed down for generations. The gut, the eyes, the brain, they all benefit when nutrients are absorbed slowly and consistently rather than rushed or overwhelmed. And that's what a blueberry-oat combination does.
That makes me wonder, is it just the fiber, or is there more happening here?
It's also about what the oats don't contain. They're low in tannins. They don't introduce harmful fats or excessive sugars, and they don't interfere with mineral absorption. That creates a clean platform for blueberries to do their work. It's simple, but it's precise.
That's such a practical shift. No supplements, just smarter combinations.
Exactly. And it's not only about nutrients. Meals like this also affect mood, sleep, and blood pressure, which are all connected to long-term brain health.
And that's the heart of the problem. We're seeing more and more research linking blood sugar swings to cognitive decline, and that makes this kind of slow-burn breakfast even more powerful. It's reassuring to know that with just 2 ingredients, you can create a meal that nourishes you well beyond the moment. But oats are just one piece of the puzzle. So, doctor, what's the right amount for seniors to enjoy each day to really see the benefits?
For most seniors, half a cup of blueberries with 1/3 to half a cup of cooked oats. That's enough to provide a stable release of glucose, fiber to feed the gut, and antioxidants to support brain and eye function. The key isn't just in the ingredients, it's in the repetition, the habit.
It's the consistency that gives the body a rhythm it can rely on.
Absolutely. And over time, this steady input reduces inflammation and improves cellular communication, especially in aging tissues. Research from the Okinawa Centenarian study shows that the diet, rich in antioxidants and low in inflammatory foods, helps reduce inflammation and supports better cellular communication in older adults.
That's powerful. And it sounds like it's as much about building a foundation as it is about nutrition itself.
Yes, because at this stage of life, the body needs predictability, small daily signals that say, you're safe, you're supported.
And the truth is, we often overlook just how powerful those tiny, consistent signals can be. Everyone wants dramatic change, but it's the daily, almost invisible improvements that accumulate in energy, clarity, resilience. So let's move on to the second food that pairs well with blueberries for seniors.
The second food I often recommend is natural Greek yogurt. Plain, unsweetened, and ideally full fat for those who tolerate dairy well. It's rich in protein, which helps stabilize the blood sugar and support muscle maintenance, both of which become more important with age. But even more critically, it contains probiotics that aid digestion and enhance nutrient absorption, including the polyphenols in blueberries. The pairing of blueberries and yogurt forms a kind of metabolic harmony, fast-acting antioxidants supported by slow-digesting protein and beneficial bacteria.
That makes so much sense. I've seen patients eat fruit for energy and protein for strength, but rarely together, and that separation misses the synergy.
Yes, and what's unique about Greek yogurt is its texture and density. It slows digestion without stressing the system. This gives the body more time to absorb and distribute the compounds from the berries where they're most needed. It's especially helpful for seniors dealing with gut sensitivity or irregularity, which can interfere with nutrient uptake. The probiotics also help maintain microbial diversity, something we lose naturally with age.
So, doctor, what would you say it matters whether it's dairy or plant-based yogurt?
That's a great question. And yes, there are some key differences worth considering. Dairy-based yogurt tends to have more natural calcium and complete protein, which are both helpful in aging. But for those who are lactose intolerant, certain plant-based yogurts, especially those fortified with calcium and live cultures, can offer similar benefits.
And I imagine sweetness is a concern here too?
Absolutely. Added sugars, especially in flavored yogurts, can trigger blood sugar spikes and inflammation, essentially undoing the benefits of the blueberries. Always look for plain varieties and let the berries bring the sweetness.
It's such a practical adjustment. Just choosing plain instead of flavored can make a real difference in how the body responds. And when you start thinking this way, it's not just about nutrients anymore. It's about how meals make you feel calmer, more stable, less reactive. So let's keep going. What's the third food that truly elevates blueberries, especially for older adults?
The third food seniors can pair with blueberries are vitamin C-rich fruits like strawberries, oranges, and kiwi. Vitamin C doesn't just strengthen the immune system, it plays a direct role in regenerating other antioxidants, including those found in blueberries. That means when you eat these fruits together, their benefits are amplified, not just added. For older adults, this kind of synergy supports collagen production, eye health, and better iron absorption.
It's fascinating. We often think of fruits as interchangeable, but clearly some pairings are more powerful than others. And for seniors, that kind of enhancement could be the difference between maintaining and slowly declining.
Yes, and that's why the timing and pairing matter. For example, blueberries contain polyphenols that can inhibit iron absorption. But when eaten with vitamin C-rich fruits, that effect is neutralized or even reversed. This is critical for older adults who are more prone to iron deficiency and fatigue. The goal isn't to isolate nutrients, it's to balance them so they work together like instruments in an orchestra.
So in a way, these fruits act like a catalyst, unlocking more value from what's already there.
Exactly. They're amplifiers, and that amplification matters more as the body becomes less efficient with age.
Well, it's also comforting to know that something as simple as mixing fruits can make a difference.
It is, John. And what's beautiful is that these combinations require no cooking, no special planning. Just awareness and a little intention at the grocery store.
So, I imagine this pairing also supports skin and joint health, which many of my patients ask about.
Yes, very much so. Vitamin C supports collagen and connective tissues, while blueberries reduce oxidative breakdown. Together they slow the visible and invisible signs of aging.
It's encouraging to realize how accessible this kind of protection is. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated routines, just the right pairings on your plate. And what strikes me most is how gentle these combinations are on the body. No harsh swings, no crashes, just quiet support. Now we've explored what works with blueberries, but as you said before, there's one food that could get in the way of all these good effects, right?
Yes, John. Like I mentioned earlier, there's one food I always tell seniors not to combine with blueberries, and that's green tea. Especially when consumed in large quantities or alongside meals rich in antioxidants, like blueberries. Green tea contains tannins, which are natural compounds that can interfere with the absorption of iron, zinc, and even certain polyphenols. While green tea has its own health benefits, combining it with antioxidant-rich foods can create a kind of traffic jam in the gut, where nutrients end up competing for absorption. For older adults who already absorb nutrients less efficiently, that competition can quietly cancel out the advantages of an otherwise healthy meal.
That's unexpected. Most people view green tea as universally beneficial, especially in aging. But this adds a layer of nuance, especially for those trying to boost specific nutrients.
Exactly. The problem isn't the tea itself, but when and how it's consumed. If someone drinks a strong cup of green tea with their blueberries and yogurt, they may be lowering the availability of iron and zinc, both crucial for vision, immune function, and mental clarity. It's not dangerous, but it's a missed opportunity, and over time that adds up, especially if these combinations are part of a daily routine.
So it's less about elimination and more about smart timing.
That's right. Enjoy green tea, but ideally between meals, not with them. Give the body space to absorb what it needs first.
That's such a small shift, and yet it can completely change the effectiveness of a healthy habit.
And this applies not just to green tea, but also to other tannin-rich foods and drinks, like red wine and even dark chocolate. If you are going to pair them with antioxidant-rich foods, it's better to do so sparingly or with awareness of what else is on the plate. They can offer benefits, but they can also block key micronutrients from doing their work.
So even the healthiest foods can sometimes step on each other's toes.
Yes, especially in a digestive system that's already slower and more selective, as it often becomes with age. Seniors need nutrient cooperation, not competition.
That's such a valuable reminder, because it's easy to chase superfoods and lose sight of context. The how and when matters just as much as the what. So, Doctor, before we wrap up, could you leave our listeners with one final thought? Just a small piece of wisdom to take with them.
Food is not just fuel, it's a message we send to our future self. And the beauty of that message is, it can be rewritten at any age.
Doctor, you've shared some truly eye-opening insights today, and I hope our listeners walk away with the sense that small changes can still lead to big outcomes. If something in this episode made things clearer for you, or even sparked a new question, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend or someone you care about, because sometimes just a little bit of the right information at the right time can make all the difference. And let us know where you are watching from if you haven't done already. We would love to hear from you. And if you're curious to learn more about smart food choices for life after 60, be sure to check out this episode. It's a great next step.